Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Dude Love. His name is Dude Love. Yeah. He is the king of love. Yeah. His name is Dude Love. Yeah. He is the king. Yeah, you can count on his moves. He's the king of the cats. He's the man. His name is Dude Love. He is the king of love. Yeah, he is the king. His name is Dude Love. Those are the lyrics to the Dude Love song, Jeff.
That was good.
Is it though?
Obviously not. Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
I was expecting it to be a little bit better than that.
Your singing voice just needs some work, but that's
well.
okay.
No, I wasn't even trying to sing. I thought the lyrics. I thought there'd be a little bit more depth to them. But another Jim Johnson classic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, doesn't get enough respect for what he's done over the years. Absolutely. So. But we're going to respect this match, though, no matter what. So this should be a good one.
I'm excited for this one. I'm really looking forward to this. So this is, dude, I don't know. I don't know if you went back and watched the match yet or if you noticed when you were trying to find it. Okay, I will tell you this. When I was looking for the timestamp, I watched the Steve Austin entrance. Oh, my God. Like, you just forget. I mean, still to this day, right? Like, but this guy is just so over. Like, there is no comparison.
Biggest Pop-A-Mania weekend. Yep.
Biggest Pop-A-Mania weekend, biggest pop every time he comes back. I mean, I'm already like, hey, if I go to LA for Mania, like he better come out and stun someone. Like just that entrance, like I love it. So good. Yeah, I'm excited to cover this one, man. We're Attitude Era. We're height of Vince and Stone Cold, the greatest rivalry of all time, arguably. Mick Foley probably going to take some crazy ass bumps. Work and heel. I'm excited to cover this one. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this was the peak kind of, not even corporation, but like Vince McMahon heel, Pat Patterson, Briscoe, just like this was in the heart of it and kind of what we were dealing with and just really good stuff. That Austin, really, the Austin storyline and what was happening. And this just really good stuff.
Well, and the interesting thing is, Mick Foley had 3 different characters. And I don't know if you know this or not, but when he was Dude Love, like when he performed as that character, he actually took a razor to below the waist and cleaned himself up.
Did he? Good for him.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, you had to, cut yourself and try to make it happen. Very, very difficult and would face quite a bit of ridicule in the locker room. But this day, is there a better way to clean yourself up down there, Jeff?
I would say, well, he is Dude Love. I would add, one word to that and say a little bit of like, just dude, love yourself. That's what it's all about. And so if you can't already tell what we're hinting toward, of course, big supporter of Manscaped around here on the Payoff, using our promo code PAYOFF20, that's PAYOFF20. Get any of those products from Manscaped. It's summertime now, or getting into summertime. You want to look your best, want to stay cool. And so whether you're using the weed whacker, the lawnmower, just any of the different products, just even the basic kind of shears and stuff like that, just to trim up the mustache or whatever, that's what I use them for. And so, definitely check out all their products. So it's free shipping, 20% off, all kinds of free swag if you get some of their bigger bundles and things like that. Payoff20.
Bigger bundle for your big bundle.
It makes absolutely. So look at that. So good one. I'm upset at myself for not thinking of that when I said it. So yes, Payoff20, free shipping, 20% off. Use that promo code at manscaped.com.
All right. It's time for the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right, man. Really excited to cover this one. We're in Milwaukee at the Wisconsin Center Arena. This is the old Milwaukee Arena. They actually built a big, beautiful one downtown, new one. I have not been there, but I heard it's spectacular and a really, really cool downtown. Reminds me a lot of Pittsburgh, where I grew up. May 31st, 1998, jam-packed, 10,000 in there, 200,000 buy rate. We start off with LOD 2000, and man, that just didn't work. I actually didn't remember them being around that long, but they were, with Sonny defeating DOA, which was 8 Ball and Skull, accompanied by Chains. You had Jeff Jarrett, who was working with Tennessee Lee at the time, defeating Steve Blackman in 10 minutes. By the way, I really like the Jeff Jarrett podcast.
Yeah, agreed.
A lot of good stuff in there. I find myself listening. It's funny because I listen to that almost every week. I rarely listen to Kurt Angle. And I like the guy, but just not that interesting. I'll tell you another one that two more. Bruce Pritchard, he can't say anything anymore. So like you just listen and you're like, okay, I know you can't say anything. It's just not good anymore. And so I get it. He's probably making $500,000 a year for working for WWE. Well, he's not going to trash them. He's not going to, give any dirt out. JR does nothing for me
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't know much of what happened backstage. I mean, he was basically, talent relations, you're basically like an HR director. So it's like, he doesn't really have a lot of interesting stuff to say. And then, and again, JR, great guy, great career, but he's kind of grouchy. And it's like, I'm listening to a wrestling podcast to have some laughs and learn a few things. I don't want to hear someone just be grouchy all the time about stuff. And so just not a fan. But anyways, I think Jeff Jarrett's just fantastic. Can't believe I'm saying this. Mark Mero defeated Sable in 30 seconds.
Big match. So yeah, big 30 seconds. Yeah.
Kai and Ty defeating Justin Bradshaw and Taka Michinoku. 3-on-2 handicap match. Here we go. Here's something. The Rock keeps his Intercontinental title, defeating Farouk. Kane defeated Vader in a mask versus mask match. Vader, not much left in the tank there. The Nation defeated DX in a 6-man tag in 20 minutes. And DX was obviously Billy, Road Dogg, and Triple H, accompanied by China and X-Pac. So that was a fun feud. D'Lo, and Owen for the Nation team. So that was kind of fun. And then our main event, Falls Count Anywhere. Patterson, special guest ring announcer. Briscoe, special guest timekeeper. Undertaker, special guest enforcer. Mr. McMahon, special guest referee. It's like they had the deck stacked against Steve Austin in this match. Man, star ratings, 0.5, 0.5, 2.5, 1, dud, 1.5, nothing until the main event. And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We romanticize on the Attitude Era. And don't get me wrong, there was some awesome stuff, but there's pretty shitty wrestling and some weird storylines too. So it wasn't all great. The wrestling that you're seeing these days is far better. You can argue the storylines aren't as good in WWE or AEW, which I think is fair, but the wrestling is better. So, Jeff, storyline standpoint, how do we get to this match and heel Dude Love and Mr. McMahon and Steve Austin and all these shenanigans?
Yeah, and I feel like this, and I think I said it a little bit in the reviews, and we'll get into in the aftermath on this, but like this card was really built around one match, and that was the main event. And so a lot of things happening around this. Of course, we're going to kind of dance around the Austin and Vince kind of storylines on this one. But what you had, it was, this match taking place in this pay-per-view taking place, it was May 31st, 1998. But we got to go back about a little over a month prior to this. We had an episode of Raw's War. We had Dude Love interfering in a match between Vince and Austin because he just, as he put it, he just wanted the two to get along. I went back and kind of watched it. It was kind of funny, but kind of how they did it. But so you had that. So you had Vince then pushing and kind of getting into it with Dude Love, and then you had Dude applying the mandible claw on McMahon, who got out of the ring, and then he put it on Austin, which is where you got the start of this feud after he gave him the mandible claw. So the following week, you had the debut of the brand new Love Shack interview segment. Of course, a great one over the years to kind of put up there with Miz TV and some of those other, Piper's Pit type segments. And so during that time, McMahon scheduled a match between Austin and Dude Love at what would have been prior to this Unforgiven in Your House. So we're getting out of the In Your House pay-per-views at this point too. And so, but that was In Your House, Unforgiven. And so that one, you had Austin attacking McMahon at ringside with a chair and then giving the Stone Cold Stunner to Dude Love on that one. And so, during that one, this is where you start to see the pieces come into place. The referee during that time was knocked out. And so Austin counted his own pin, but then Gerald Briscoe came down and DQ'd Austin for attacking McMahon. And so while Dude Love got the win on that match, because it was through DQ, did not win the championship. So Austin retained the title. So we're in May, same month as this pay-per-view episode of Raw. Again, you had the lead up to this one and Vince not being happy with Dude Love, booking a match between him and Terry Funk in order to kind of break them up. Dude ended up winning that one. And this was, as we all know, the kind of old storyline. And even, shoot, these guys are good friends in real life. I saw a couple of weeks ago, there was actually the two of them were together, actually, Mick and Terry Funk. There was a picture of them floating around, which was great to see. Yep. And so having that, but after that match, you had Dude Love actually siding with McMahon because of McMahon's approval for him beating Terry Funk. So then you get this again. Well, they had this match at In Your House. Now we're in the following week, middle of May, just a week or two prior to this actual card, and scheduling the match between it Over the Edge, this show between the two of them. And again, the guest timekeeper being Gerald Briscoe. Tom already said the guest ring announcer, Pat Patterson, and then the referee being McMahon. And so kind of making sense how it all just kind of fell into place with, even the little shades of Gerald Briscoe coming in after, and giving the DQ, just little things like that. We all know like Patterson and Briscoe always kind of being at Vince's side. And so that piece kind of it made sense. One little kind of like thorn on this one that they kind of threw in on it was that the week before this one, they actually had a number one contenders match between Dustin Rhodes and Dude Love, but Love going over on that one as well too, winning that one in order to retain or keep his match at Over the Edge. And so nice tight little build. Like I said, there was a lot of Austin storyline that came into this, but they did a great job of working Dude Love into this and having him be a part of this match as well, just part of this little set of the story, which a lot happened after this. I will say this before this taking place before a other certain iconic moment with the special enforcer Undertaker and Mick Foley, but we'll get to that after. So good stuff.
All right. I'm pumped to cover this one. This will be a lot of fun. We are Over the Edge 1998. 2 hour, 20-minute mark. So 2 hour, 20-minute mark, Over the Edge, 1998. Jeff, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
I mean, listen to this, dude.
Austin chants, yep, right out of the gate.
Listen to this. I mean, everyone is on their feet.
That's McMahon, the referee.
Chanting Austin. I mean, the buzz in the building.
Not a referee in the ring or out of the ring. There is one referee. He is the owner of this company. He is in the ring now. He's the man.
Good job, JR, getting him over. Yep.
I mean, look at Vince's facial reaction.
Well, I just believe that business is going to pick up.
Taker coming out.
Lights out. Yep.
Wow.
I don't know why, but the Dude Love shirt was always one I was disappointed I didn't own.
Yeah, that's fair.
You. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That'd actually be a really good one to like wear to a show now. I always love buying new shirts and wearing them to shows. That would be a really good one, dude. So This place is just fucking electric. And keep in mind, they've sat through like 2 hours of bullshit. It's been a terrible show, but dude, it doesn't matter. This is, there are only, I think, challenge me on this, Jeff, but I think there's only two guys in the history of the business that can fill a building just by being on top. And it may not even matter who they're on top with. And I think that's Hogan and Austin. Ever.
Yeah.
The rest of the show didn't matter. Like you were getting Steve Austin's entrance, a 20-minute banger as a main event, in this rivalry. That's all that mattered. That's why these people are here. That's it.
Yeah. And this, like I said, the all of this card, it really did suck. Like this was not a good card outside of this, but then you look at, okay, what is it that, like you just said, what's at the top of the card? And even like, just looking at who's in the ring right now, didn't matter what came before this because you were going to forget about it. And so, like they say, you kind of hear the behind the scenes, like, they're not going to remember all of it, but this is all they're going to care about. And so everything else can suck.
So here, let me set the stage for you.
Man and company. I don't think this
You've got every fan on their feet chanting. You've got Mick Foley and Steve Austin in the ring. You've got Vince McMahon as the ref. You've got The Undertaker staring daggers at them both outside. This is really something, man. You got a nice little 10,000 seat building. It's loud as hell. This is great.
Quick
really good stuff.
Of the bird
Austin just looking fucking jacked.
Both guys looking good too. This felt Mick Foley too. This is only one knee brace. Austin too. I feel like that's how you can always tell where he's at too in his career is how many knee braces he's wearing, and he's only got one.
Yeah, Austin looks great. So anything can and will happen in this match. This could be a lot of fun.
These guys, not a slow start, just kind of methodical, best way to put it. And so absolutely these guys, Undertaker, looming, ever present. Yep.
Look at the crowd. It's just unbelievable.
It's a sea of black shirts between Austin and DX. Yep.
Yeah. So one of the, to me, really fun things about WWE being on Peacock and Austin doing a match this year, Jeff, was that so many of my friends who, of course we call the lapsed fan, right? They watch the Monday Night Wars and they haven't watched the shit in 20 years. So many of them watched without me even like nudging them, right? Like them, and they all watched it with their kids. Like, I just thought that was so cool. So I love them being on Peacock. I think there's more, we fixate on the Monday night ratings. Well, what rating did Raw do? Well, hold on, Bill. Pump the brakes here for a second, okay? It's a little more complicated than that because the television landscape has radically changed. So do these Nielsen ratings even matter anymore? I don't know. But, WWE's audience, a lot of young people, they probably DVR it. They probably watch it on streaming. So, the popularity of the product, you sit there and you go, oh, ratings. Well, Universal and, the NBCs and the Foxes, and they're paying hundreds of millions of dollars, and they keep paying hundreds of millions of dollars, and they keep renewing their contracts. So they can't be that frustrated with the ratings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So they can't be that frustrated. So, that's a big point. Peacock, we don't know how many people watched WrestleMania, but we know it was a hell of a lot. We know it was more than when they were on pay-per-view. So more eyeballs are watching that. The YouTube videos, some people don't watch Raw, but they go, hey, did anything cool happen? They check YouTube, or they scroll through Twitter and watch YouTube. Millions of people are watching it. There's clips of like obscure stuff where it's like, oh, there's a million people that watched, Ezekiel and KO, do a promo together. So there's a shit ton of eyeballs. And there's a lot of people watching the product. It isn't all going to be like, hey, I watched 3 hours of Raw, but it's like they watch WrestleMania. Maybe they watch SummerSlam. Maybe they watch some clips on YouTube. there are a lot of eyeballs on this product, and there is a lot of popularity in what they do. And I'm so glad that Peacock and YouTube and some of these different things have allowed people to consume the product for free that otherwise would have never watched it ever again.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was kind of in the same boat, like a lot of the pay-per-views now, because like I have a old kind of Facebook Messenger group that we use between me and the guys just to, to talk about wrestling and stuff like that. And it always, I always know when there's a pay-per-view. And so, but it's always interesting because some of the guys will chime in like, is anybody else watching this? And so then all of a sudden we've got a few people kind of, because yeah, it is. And I actually text my brother like before, usually like that Saturday or Sunday. And I say, hey, he does not watch it weekly anymore. But he will just kind of throw it on in the background on a Sunday night because, what else are you doing? Like he's a teacher. He's not really got, trying to get ready for the week and stuff like that. But, kind of just to have it on. And then all of a sudden, like he's hooked, but like WrestleMania is one that like, how do you not watch WrestleMania? Like, our shoot jobs, you and I travel a lot too. And I remember I was somewhere and it was WrestleMania weekend and it was, me and all of a sudden the guys are like, oh shit. Okay. Let's just put it on. And so, yeah, I think the accessibility and they've said like the numbers are huge, like what they're doing. Now they're not like, like this type of era, 1998 huge, but hey, like, yeah, Austin coming back, taking bumps, like, part of that was the mystique of like, is he going to do it? Like they did, whether they knew from day one what he was going to do or not do, like they did a good job of the building it up for us. Like, those of us reading the dirt sheets and things like that, like, oh, is he going to go? And then, yeah, he took a whole bunch of bumps and they did Kevin Owens and both the guys looked like a freaking $1 million. And so, good stuff, but yeah, I'm
the only thing I thought was missing in that match is I would have liked to have seen a big bump from KO. I thought for sure he was getting thrown off the stage or something. I was surprised they didn't do that.
I'm sure they actually talked about it because dude has done it before, and so I would not be surprised if he wanted to do it again for Austin. Because like that, he was like kid in a candy store in that. Like he wanted that match bad and he got it, which was great for him. So yeah.
And hey, to all the people out there that bitch and moan about the older guys, let me ask you one question. As we sit here today, is Kevin Owens a bigger star or a smaller star than he was before WrestleMania?
Right. Yep.
He got the shit kicked out of him by a 57-year-old guy who was drinking beers and half in the bag by the end of the match. And guess what? He's a bigger star today than he was before. More people know who he was. He couldn't have been happier. It was a dream come true. And he'll continue to be a big star. And it's just so funny how we think, oh, well, like Lashley, he lost to Goldberg, right? Does anybody give a shit? No. They traded a couple wins. So what? Good rivalry. And their blow off match in Saudi Arabia, I thought was excellent. I thought it was the best, probably the best Goldberg match. Maybe one of the Lesnar matches was better, but it's some of the best work Goldberg's done. So, I don't know. I like mixing it up and with these guys. And I think if you do it right, everyone can come out looking better. We get the nostalgia pop. And we get to be excited about it, but I think it's fine for these guys. You notice how close the announcer table is to the ring?
I was just thinking that actually. So yeah, so these guys
almost looks like a mistake.
They put on a good little match here. Yeah, there's maybe 6 feet, if that, not even 5.
No, not even
in the ring and the table, and the announce table. We got this, and this is where you got multiple tables. We got the Spanish table, which is about to probably get taken out. Yep, and then and so all that different stuff. So yeah, I think that, and these guys are having kind of a nice burn of a match here. Like kind of, it's moving methodically. It has been nonstop action to this point. You got Dude Love kind of beating up Austin on the outside at this point, but Vince just kind of watching, and that's all right. And so, yeah, good stuff though.
The interesting thing about, and I think it's still true to this day, and maybe this is one way that WWF was different than WCW is, the demand of being the world champion, and it's true with Roman Reigns right now, you have to be able to put on a damn good 20-minute main event at a pay-per-view every month against a variety of opponents. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, not everyone can do that. Okay? Not everyone can do this. Like Steve Austin, I mean, he's working a hell of a match. And I mean, go look at WWE in 1998. It's 20, 25 minutes every single pay-per-view. you've got to put on a great match. You've got to send them home happy. You don't have a choice. Like, you can't have a 1.5 star match. Man, this is just wild.
They have the crap out of each other. Yep.
They are.
They're in the crowd at this point. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they're just going nuts. I mean, it's like, I don't even know what to compare the Austin, again, I lived in it, right? But I still look at it. I'm like, man, like you just forget how over he was because you just don't see anything like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the Undertaker, like roaming around like a dead man outside the ring. I mean, it's just kind of awkward to have him there, but okay.
He's just kind of looming.
Yeah.
These guys just going at it. Absolutely good stuff, though.
What a shitty building. I don't even know if this is the building that the Milwaukee Bucks played in. It looks like a different building.
They had up to a certain point. I don't know if at this point they were still good bump there, right, Austin? I don't know if they were still doing it at this point, but they had been in this building for a little bit. Yes.
Man, that Dude Love outfit.
Which
was that something or what?
So you had to pick a persona. Who you picking?
I actually like when he just came out as Mick Foley the best.
Got it. Okay.
Which is kind of a hybrid amongst them in a lot of ways. But I just like, later in his career when it was just straight up Mick Foley coming out in a flannel shirt and, doing whatever he did, like against Edge at WrestleMania.
I always liked Deranged Mankind. And then I always really liked Hardcore. What do we got here? What's he announcing?
Oh,
I believe they now switched it to a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Okay, it didn't start out as that?
It did not start out it, but we have now, after Pat Patterson announcing, we now have a Falls Count Anywhere match because Vince is counting pinfalls on the outside here. Oh,
so this was that iconic set where they had like the old used cars like on the set.
That was a hell of a clothesline too.
Yeah.
Poor Honda. Oh my God.
A Falls Count Anywhere match.
I mean, it's no surprise these guys just break down physically and mentally after. I mean, you think about this and think about the pressure Steve Austin was under. So pay-per-views, you got to have a 20-25 minute banger. Okay. Different opponents every time. Okay. Every Monday night, you've got to do something cool, right? Cut a badass promo, drive out a beer truck, whatever it might be. And then like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on non-pay-per-view days, you're just working matches. And you're just doing it night in, night out, and you're probably having a couple beers to fall asleep. And I mean, it's just a fucking grind, man.
Well, you figure 330 days. This is when they were working that massive road schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Just a terrible. And he has said, as much as we would see him in the ring, drinking beer and stuff like that, he has come out and said, he'll get a buzz off of doing that. I can't imagine how he had to be pretty drunk after Mania because he drank a lot of, he said, it's just the amount and how quickly he's drinking them. You figure in a 5-minute span, he's having, even if you figure he's pouring 4 beers down his throat, whether he's catching it all, it doesn't matter. So he has said himself, he'll get a pretty decent buzz off of it because
jeez.
Going for the stunner, but then getting reversed and just pushing Austin over the cars. Jesus. Yeah.
So Foley standing up on the cars. Austin thrown over the edge of the other car, as JR just said. I mean, this is wild. Now Foley jumping off a car. Oh God.
Whoa. Yeah.
sunset flip off a car onto the cement. Oh my!
Could Vince count that pin any more terribly too? God, he counts a pin like he takes a stunner. Jesus,
I know. Right?
Like put some stank on it. I don't know too. I think it was Reddit or Twitter or somewhere had posted like the WWE, the edited version of him taking the stunner where they totally cut out the kick. It's just like, yeah, it's like the split shot of like, it's Austin's leg going up for the kick and then like him like taking the stunner. Like they totally cut out the whole middle part. And I've heard more about it since too, that apparently Vince didn't expect the kick, which like, how the fuck was he doing the stunner then? Like, yeah, come on. Like, so which is why he went to his knees as fast as he did, is because he thought he was just going to get the stunner. It's like, Vince, you've been taking stunners for 30 year,s man. Like, come on.
And watching other people take them for 30 years.
Right. And so, yeah, just crazy. And I read too, like Pat McAfee, that was kind of impromptu of him taking a stunner as well too, which was good stuff as well. But Austin split open. Yep. Going for a power bomb, but
these guys are working like a match on a cement floor. It's just wild. So Steve Austin bloodied, Dude Love going for the pin, not being able to get it. Hey, let me hit you with something completely unrelated to what we're watching. I think that Adam Cole would have stuck out a lot better in WWE, being like a Shawn Michaels type. Hey, he's small and feisty, but has great matches and finds a way to win, than he does in AEW, where they all look and work the same.
Interesting. Okay.
I think sometimes it's easy to go, oh, well, WWE, it's the land of the giants, and they only push big guys. Obviously, it's not true. I mean, look at, you've had Shawn and Eddie and Benoit and all these guys that are smaller that have been champions. I mean, still to this day, obviously. Okay. So to me, when you get a crazy good worker that's smaller, again, like a Shawn Michaels, like an Adam Cole, they stick out. Mm-hmm. And that's a really good thing. And so I actually think Cole would have been better staying in WWE, and he would have found a really good spot for himself. That's just my opinion. So and I think sometimes guys should stay, and sometimes it's okay to be different. I think that's part of the issue that AEW is going to have, is if everyone has long hair and wrestles great matches and, does the same stuff, and they're all kind of like indie darling type people, well, it all looks the same. And wrestling needs to be a variety show, and you need to have different styles. And, they got to be careful with that.
Well, and so I definitely see where you're coming from. I think it's interesting because and this is just different styles for who likes what, because I'm not as big a fan of the variety show style that WWE puts on some weeks. I enjoy the wrestling. And so when you've got AEW putting on, as they even said themselves, like pay-per-view caliber cards every single week, one, that's hard to do. But then two, like, yeah, you do have to be careful because I just recently, it's funny you even bring up Adam Cole, because just recently I saw there was someone put on Reddit of, is Adam Cole being overexposed? Because he's out there every week, whether it's cutting a promo, like they just recently had like the 10-man tag. And so like, do you need that? And he was a little bit more, not a commodity, but a little bit more, No,
I actually think that's a good work. I mean, overexposed commodity. There's nothing special. He doesn't stick out.
But he was sparingly used a little bit more on NXT, I would say. Like, yeah, he had a belt, and yeah, he was, carrying it a little bit, but it was a little bit different. And so I do somewhat agree with you of like, they just got to be careful. And like, I think you and I've talked about it before too. There are some people on AEW, the people, everyone's excited. Go to AEW. Like that's where they're going to be successful.
Like Christian?
Like
how about Malachi Black?
Aleister Black is exactly what I was just going to say.
On Andrade.
Yeah. And so Andrade's been getting his ass kicked every week.
Black's the best example. I agree. WWE didn't use him. Okay. I totally agree with that. But he went there and he's not being used either.
Well, he's cutting a promo backstage every 2-3 weeks. Like, and they keep talking about this House of Black, which, it's a great idea. Like, again, we love stables around here, but you got to do something with it too. Like there's just not much happening with it. And so get me invested in stuff like that. But they are getting they're getting other guys over. I've become a huge Wardlow fan. Like it's hard not to like the guy in the storyline they're putting him with. Like I hate Sammy Guevara just like everybody else. It's like, dude I cannot stand him anymore. And so I do think they're not booking him right. But also, and you and I've talked about it before, like every week cannot have a big announcement because it quits being a special thing. Like, yes, the New Japan AEW show, I'm very excited about that. But I do think there's better ways to announce that than
how about not announcing it? How about instead of that, you have a couple of these guys come out and cut a promo where somebody attacks someone, or you make it a storyline. Not everything is about you, Tony. Not everything has to be you making an announcement saying, hey, I own this promotion. It's all fake. I write all the storylines. I'm going to tell you how fake it is. I'm going to make all these big announcements. He is far too involved in the product. Don't be in front of the camera.
Well, and who actually announced the AEW New Japan show? Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So, big DDT there from Dude Love to Austin, right on a chair, actually. So you got 1, 2.
You're right. This Vince McMahon is like the worst counter I've ever seen of a special guest referee.
You're welcome, man. Now you're never going to unsee it. I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. It's horrible.
So you got Austin fight. This is the other thing that we're talking about. Austin putting in all these weeks work. Like he has been getting pounded on for a better part of 15 minutes. And so this is not him. I feel like Roman sometimes like his match, 4 moves and he wins his match. Like we're going on 20 minutes here and Austin hit himself with a chair there.
Jeez.
Oh, unblocked or unprotected chair shot to Dude Love.
Vince not counting.
Yep. Yep. You get Dude Love getting up in the chair again. What's going to happen here? Oh, unprotected chair shot to Vince. Listen to the crowd. Nope. There's no ref.
No referee.
Here comes the ref running in.
No.
Is that Earl?
Nope.
Mike. Oh, Pat Patterson pulling out the ref, though.
Beating up Mike Chioda.
Every single person is on their feet. Oh, and there's the mandible claw.
Yeah, it is absolutely wild.
Yeah, we talk about it too. Like people on their feet. Everybody's on their feet except the 4 people sitting in the front row. Yep. Pat Patterson, 1, 2. Nope. And then getting pulled out by the Undertaker.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Oh my God.
Ooh, he took that choke slam great.
Patterson choke slam through the English announce table. Daryl Briscoe trying.
Briscoe now trying to count.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Spanish table, goodbye. Gotta be.
Stop it. Are you kidding me?
Ooh, Undertaker picked him up with everything on that one.
People are going nuts.
Reversing a mandible claw into a stunner. Austin looking for a ref.
Are we still on? Austin pulls the referee over.
Great. Oh my God. McMahon knocked out still, and Austin picks up his hand and counts the 3 count. I did not remember that. It's fantastic.
Wow.
What a finish.
Jesus. What a match. What a match. Let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
Dude, what'd you think?
That got so crazy in the end. That was so good.
What did I tell you last week? I said WCW never knew how to book a finish. Bischoff's talked about that on his podcast. Compare the difference of last week versus this week. Oh my God. That was, there was a lot happening, but it was all perfect. It all built on each other. I didn't remember any of that. Patterson, Briscoe, both getting chokeslammed through tables. Now you're teasing. Taker's pissed off. He's kind of a tweener with Austin. We're going to get them eventually. Austin's your champion. McMahon out cold. What a just incredible finish. I mean, look at these fans. They're going absolutely nuts for this guy.
Nothing mattered. Stepping over Vince. Great little move there. Nothing mattered in the 2 hours and 40 minutes before that finish. And it didn't up until the finish.
And I stand firm in saying, I think the only two people in history, Hogan in the 80s, Austin late 90s, that was true of.
Yep.
Where literally nothing else mattered. Every fan in that building is going through happy. And, after they go off the air, Austin's probably going to drink some beers. I mean, they're the fans here. You're not going to see anything. Of course, WrestleMania this year was Steve Austin, but you're not going to see anything else like this anywhere else. It is unbelievable.
They're showing that chair shot. He took that chair shot straight. Damn. Okay, so
wow, was that good?
What do we got going on here in the aftermath? So, of course, the next night you had Kane actually beating The Undertaker to become the number one contender for Stone Cold's championship. And so, and then you had a segment the following week where you had,
how do you like your Undertaker?
There you go. You had Vince, Kane, Mankind, and The Undertaker actually attacking Austin, putting him in a casket. And so, and unfortunately at that one, you had at King of the Ring, Kane beating Austin. It was a first blood match to win the championship, but he actually lost it the next night back to Austin on Raw is War. And so, these guys, like you said, we'll eventually get to The Undertaker, Austin. We'll eventually, we had this so much happening with Austin at this point. There's almost too much to get into. But again, like we already said, Dude Love picking up the Mankind gimmick and refuting again with The Undertaker. Like you said, that match for him to become the number one contender, Mankind actually got involved in. And then this leading to, of course, there was a few different things. You had a Hell in the Cell match, which was The Undertaker and Austin against Mankind and Kane. It ended up being a no contest. But then that King of the Ring where Kane beat Austin, which you forget about that because that, of course, was I feel like there was another event that took a higher priority or was more memorable at that King of the Ring with, of course, the Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Mankind. And so, and the craziness that was that. And so really good stuff though. Like the Austin storyline, we will get to in some different matches, here, but man, like that finish, hard to not like that finish and everything about it. So where do we get though here? Kind of what's going on? Afterwards in the reviews, you go PWI Stone Cold, almost no question, number one for this year. Dude Love, number 26. And so, the WWF, this was the torch. WWF delivered a match of the year candidate at the King of the Ring pay-per-view on Sunday. That was wrong. Steve Austin pinned Dude Love to retain the title. Excellent brawl with the entire spectacle surrounding it, adding to the match rather than taking away from it. 4.25 stars. The thoroughly entertaining sideshow aspects could have overshadowed the action between Austin and Dude Love, but it didn't. Instead, it appeared everyone involved in the match was having a blast and getting across their characters and storylines in the match, which hard to disagree with that. So, and then you get the Observer newsletter on this one, giving it 4.5 stars. No other match getting a best match vote on this one. And so let's see. WWF's Over the Edge pay-per-view just continued the same pattern of most of the group's recent pay-per-view shows, only taken to the extreme. Taken to the extreme is not a figure of speech regarding copying ECW, but a figure of speech regarding the typical pattern of having a really good main event and a weak undercard. In this case, the undercard was far worse than the usual weak standards, topped off or bottomed off more accurately by the saddest angle of the year. And in this case, the main event with Steve Austin versus Dude Love was possibly the best match so far this year in the United States, which, while it was a great match, also points out in bold letters just how weak this year has been when it comes to producing off-the-page matches. So you've got 4.25, 4.5, kind of interesting takes from both guys here. What are your thoughts, Tom?
Man, dude, what's not to love?
Yeah.
Two of our all-time favorites. You got the Austin McMahon thing happening. You got freaking Undertaker roaming around, Foley, Austin. We love them. Banger of a match, great match, blood and cars and stunners and choke slams through tables and Briscoe and Patterson. I mean, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Exceeded my expectations and they were high. I've got this thing at an 8. I just think everything about it was awesome. The only thing to be nitpicky is it kind of sucked that in this era there wasn't really a great heel for Austin to wrestle with. So we had to, kind of make Foley a heel and put him in the Dude Love thing. And I thought that part of it was a little weird. I mean, if you had a better heel opponent, sub out, put in like a heel Triple H in this role and it's probably even better, but still really, really good stuff. I loved it. I'll give it an 8. What about you?
I am too. And I probably would have ranked it lower, but for the first or the last 4 minutes of that or 5 minutes of that, because it just went absolutely off the rails. And that's what I wanted that. Like, I thought that was really good. It was, send him home happy. Absolutely did. And so just madness. It really was, though. But it all made sense. And there was future payoffs to all of it, which I thought was great. And so, we didn't know that at the time, but it all worked out in the end with kind of, letting these guys still go at it. And, of course, Mankind and Undertaker, Austin and Undertaker, eventually Vince and Austin, it always worked. And so just really great stuff. I think that this is a wrestling you and I remember vividly. And I wish we would get more of that now, but just in some, it had to bottle that up. That's what I would bottle up, but just fantastic stuff.
So true. So true. This was fantastic.
Good stuff. All right. Let's send them home happy from here too, my friend.
All right. Well, that's one you want to go back and watch. We loved it. I hope you enjoyed the payoff, and we'll see you next week on an all new episode on Monday of The Payoff.